Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Greg McCloskey from ForexLive.com. Today's date is September 5th, 2024. And this is the Kickstart video where I take a look at three of the major currency pairs: the euro versus US dollar, the dollar versus yen, and sterling versus US dollar from a technical perspective. So let's get started. This morning, we already had some mixed economic data. The ADP employment report came in weaker than expected at 99,000 versus 145,000 expected. Of course, we get the U.S. jobs report tomorrow, where expectations are near 161,000 non-farm payroll jobs. So that sent the U.S. dollar to the downside. We also saw stocks move lower and yields move lower as well. Then we got initial claims, and it came in better than expected at 227 versus 230,000 expected. The continuing claims also moved to the downside, which is indicative of a fairly steady or solid jobs sector. Of course, this is weekly data, so it's more timely. We got productivity data also, which showed that labor productivity was revised higher to 2.5% from 2.3% in the preliminary. Moreover, unit labor costs came down to 0.4% for the second quarter versus 0.8%. So we saw weaker data on the ADP. We saw stronger data from things like the unit labor cost, which is more bullish, and also we saw the initial jobs claims come in better than expected as well. So we saw a whipping around in the U.S. dollars. What I'm trying to say, taking a look at the euro versus U.S. dollar, the hourly chart, the ADP report sent the price away from its 200-hour moving average and this swing area right here, which I outlined in my video yesterday. The swing area is defined by a number of different swing lows right here. You can see the floor here. Then the floor became a ceiling through here, where the price then found resistance against that level before moving to the downside and trading. In trading here today, we moved up toward that swing area in the 200-hour moving average, and then broke through it here off the ADP with more momentum, taking the price up here. But since then, off of the other more recent data, we've moved back below the 200-hour moving average, back below the swing area. So the market seems to be saying about punting, unfortunately, and waiting for the U.S. jobs report tomorrow. We'll see how that pans out. But this area is going to be our key barometer for traders today for traders. So be aware, but we have that risk event tomorrow. Let's take a look at the dollar versus yen and like the euro versus U.S. dollar. We moved lower after the ADP report. And unlike the euro versus US dollar, we are keeping more of the downward bias here for this pair. If I could put a highlight this area up here where we had different swing lows and swing highs into yellow, makes it more clear for me at least. You can see how this was a floor that was developed back here, started being developed back here, and then we reestablished that level right through here. So clear floor right here. In trading here today, the price has traded above and below that floor. So the market is a bit unsure, but we are staying below that floor between 143.39 and 143.67. Keep that level as a barometer going forward today. On the downside, we have the low price for the month of August, which came all the way down to 141.678. That would be the next key target. On the downside, it's still far ways away, but the dollar yen tends to have bigger moves from a pip standpoint than on some of the other currency pairs. So be aware of that. It's certainly within reach. Maybe not today. Maybe today. Look at the move down yesterday. That would be the equivalent of that move down to the downside here. But we are coming off of two pretty strong days to the downside. We'll see if today is more of a consolidated type day ahead of the U.S. jobs report. Finally, let's take a look at the sterling versus U.S. dollar. Again, we'll look at the hourly chart. And like the euro versus U.S. dollar, we broke above the 200-hour moving average at 131.66 off the ADP report and moved up toward, these lows right here before the market base to the upside, traded above and below those levels through here. So it was sort of a modest target, but the data that we just saw come out at 8:30 pushed the price back below the 200-hour moving average. We're back in between 100 200-hour moving average in this swing area right through here. So I just use the 100 200-hour moving average as our barometer for the sterling versus U.S. dollar and trading here today. So once again, we have mixed jobs data today. We do have one more series of data coming out at 10 a.m. Well, 9:45 and 10 a.m. with the S&P global services PMI index coming at 945, and then the ISM non-manufacturing index coming out at 10 a.m. The employment component last month came in at 51.1. If you want to focus on that, the expectations for the non-manufacturing is 51.1 versus 51.4 last month. So there you have it. A look at the three major currency pairs. Kickstart your trading day. My name is Greg Michalowski. Good fortune with your trading. Bye-bye now.